kubanga banaye tubadde twagala kutandika eno episode ya Random Thoughts nga tutumira ku bantu bano wamanga. Miles Ramiti, Daddy, how are you? You are fine. I saw you sour graping. Yali kugundi. Yali kumukutuchi. Mimi mkutuche kaja Uganda minji nga ali kuka interview nga munyivu. You thought Vanyora are stupid. My people are not. Anyo mlala bababutu abatumira dda. Njagala kutumira ku baganda ba mwami Kyagulanyi. Ochimanyi munaye yali ayina baganda be ne gundi oli omulala. Bakuba bali banaye akalulu bakayita Sakula Bigu. Nabo twagala tumirako kwanite. Tutumira banaye ngo tutumira banjo abakubibwa akalulu. Katolo bwa machi. Nga sirise. Ani omulala. Odongo Otoye, he considered in peace. But anyway, guys, that is besides the point. My name is Tinafia1 and welcome to these my random thoughts. As you can see, I got my water, so you know what's going to be happening. Welcome. Ibra, how long has it been? A week since the last upload, right? So in this past 1 week, we sat down patiently. We waited for different things to happen. I have to be honest, a lot didn't happen. A lot. Someone came into my DMs and tried to say that, AT, we have a problem. When you started this whole thing, you used to give us celebrity gossip and all of that. Mbawechi be sidina. Mbawechi. Your celebrities went into hibernation. Your celebrities actually they're not existent. How do you want me to talk about people who are not even there? It's a polite question. How? Anyway, let's politrick on ahead and it's okay for us to politrick. So, as the week progressed, banane baleta story ya mondo. But in the vitu vya mondo nange sabi tegera. Ibrago wabi tegera. Nza sabi tegera. 1 minute. Last time, okay, this is how the story started. At first, there was someone. You all remember when that happened. It was Pastor Mondo, Catherine Kusasira. What was the other guy's name? How many were there? There were 5? Siraji something. Never later. Story, even then when there was someone, I didn't understand the story then. And then it moves on. We move on from that whole situation. We made fun of it. And then before we know it, it's back to bite again. So now what happens is Pastor Mondo, apparently, rumors start spreading around. And they're like, Mondo is fleeing the country. He's fleeing for his life. He's going into exile. First story we had was Southern Africa. Then another person comes out and is like, you all say he's in SA, or he said he's in SA. They gave us photographs of him down in Nairobi buying him some second-hand shoes. You know how that man loves a second-hand shoe. Hey! Anyway. Fast forward. He starts to do what we call miniature kind of interview on Facebook while he was in apparent exile. It wasn't even 2-3 days into the whole situation. Like, geez, calm it down. Anyway, he starts to do interviews and he's talking about how the state gives justice to only a particular few. There's some weird mishandling of the justice system. I hear there's a bigger story behind. I tried to find the biggest story behind. And to be honest, do you know what the biggest story is behind all the Mondo shenanigans? The same thing I've been telling you for 5 years on air. He's a thug. That's it. That's the biggest story. Mubi. Mulyaza manya. Mukumpanya. Muyaga. Muyaga na ya bera mubi. I'm just saying. So anyway, let's keep together with this because the story was in and out. So before we know it, he's claiming all these things. Before all of that is even going down, the state is like at. You will not put words in our mouth. Let us use our mouth. So the state comes out, and the anti-corruption court, the anti-corruption guys, they post up on their official Twitter handle, and they're like, he is wanted on about 53 counts of fraud. He's wanted on counts of impersonation. I'm like, and he's on the run. The on the run bit is what got me. Y'all have seen Mondo. Couldn't they use another term? I mean, I understand it's figure of speech, but with him they could have made an exception. They're like, he is slowly walking to another place. But he made due haste though. Anyway, they come out. They tell us it's a lot of money. And apparently some school owners, and the whole deal was he told them he was getting them scholarships. I'm about to ask, in the 21st century, you Ugandans are still being duped. You're being openly duped by these pastors in the 21st century, and then you want to come out and go like, oh, yeah, too be. You want to do that? You want to do that with your pastors, Uganda? Like, I feel like I don't even go on this whole charade again. I can't even begin singing the song again. I'm not in the mood for song and dance, but 4 billion shillings. 4 billion shillings is gotten out of a group of people. 4 freaking billion shillings. 4 billion, that's like the amount of money they can use to commission a road. That's the amount of money they can use to reopen somewhat a Center 3 or a Center 4. 4 billion is the type of money we need to grant our government in order to put SOPs in place so that schools can resume somewhat like that. It may not be enough, but it's a starting amount. 4 billion. Oh, child. Hey, bro, what can 4 billion do? So that they can get the magnitude of 4 billion. Because I know Ugandans, we are used to throwing around amounts like 300 trillion went missing, 500 billion went missing. I know you're used to those amounts, but that's from the state. This is from one guy. 4 billion. 4. Why these corn artists? Bw'olaba ng'omuntu yenna ayagala obutaalo obuyitirivu ng'ate ekintu yakirimu. Tirawo. Duka. For your life. Mbonye. Type. Mondo, type. All these chibati weird pastors, those are the types. But you give these people 4 billion shillings. 4 billion shillings. I stand. Balokole badia. I stand. Mulina sent. Mukama yogerera mumwe. Now let me ask a controversial question. Y'all are going to hate me, and then you're going to say I'm of carnal knowledge. Yes, I am. Ndiwa kunsi. So, how come God did not tell either the pastor, the junior pastors, oba abaweereza, oba omukundiga mu church nga teyamubonekedde n'amugamba bababba? Because I remember whenever you go to a church, they will tell you, Pastor yafunye ekiroto kye kanisa. Pastor yafunye ekiroto. Ebiroto byalekerawo mu COVID. Someone just explained to us why there's no sign of Jesus Christ in this situation, because this is the work of the devil. I don't know. Mondo stole 4 billion. He's somewhere in exile and on the run. But let me ask the corruption court. If you guys can put in this much energy and tenacity in catching a guy like Mondo and his cronies and henchmen and friends and all of that, like you're saying, you're on it, zino sente za Uganda ezibula muwachi temubyegatta. Ministry bwezibba sente zaffe nga temubyanguyiramu. Huh? Ministry of Health can come and tell us. So for this hospital, I read a story that made me lose my marbles. Apparently, and this is not apparent, you can go to this different website. So the Nambole makeshift hospital that they met, apparently the ministry on their website says, according to Ruth Acheng, Ministry of Health, they spent about 700 million or billion, I lose track with the bill and the meal. But then when you go to the official website, they're telling you it was rehabilitated and put into place by CSR. I'm like, okay. So it just brought it into question, since the corruption court is working ever so effortlessly and tirelessly. Zino sente ndala zebatubako nga bote mbanonya namanyi. Huh? Nze wale omugwe nyino bajjukiza all the time. Scandals eziri kusamu kutesa mpitirivu. Ngate munnamuyitayo. Obazo ezize bazisolvinga differently. They are not public. Oba because Mondo decided to go on the run, that is why you made it public. Again, let me ask. You already know a guy is on 53 counts of fraudulent tendencies, right? And you already know the amount of money that this guy has stolen. You bring him in and tell him we know your situation, or either he's out on bail or something like that, and you still manage to lose the guy. And not just any guy. You know, see guy te yenka na Ibrahim Buton. Guy yenka na kayumba kanuka space konna. This is not really a disclaimer because I have nothing to lose by speaking my mind, and the show is Random Thoughts after all. So Samson Kasumba has been having it rough on Twitter, and it's been going on for a while. I'm a Twitter head. I'm always on Twitter, and he always comes under fire, oh child, because he always manages to say some ish that pisses off the young end, that pisses off the elite, that pisses off those who think are of sound, sane mind. You dig? So Samson Kasumba took out a minute. I don't even know what started all this drama. All I know, I go on Twitter one night and there's a hashtag and they're saying let's boycott NBS TV. Now the reason why they're saying that, they claim, not claim, we all saw it, during the election time, one of the journalists posted up election results, or what they thought were, or as it was coming in from the tally centers or something like that, and then tweeted it, and then a few minutes later puts it down when EC decides to announce this guy's stuff doesn't, or it is one of those two. I'm not going to waste time on the intricate details of this whole story. Anywho, so Samson Kasumba happens to be the sacrificial lamb, because he took the time out to decide to speak out his mind and tell everybody he's not afraid to speak on what he wants to speak about. He is not afraid to believe in what he believes in. He is not afraid that you people will come at him with all sorts of derogative statements. He is not afraid, ladies and gentlemen, and that's why he stood his ground. I was like, good for you, Samson. Good for you. That was I think in the first hours of the tweet starting. But as the tweets kept dropping from him, I stood and I'm like, okay, Samson, what's your point? What's your point? Let me tell you something about the journalistic world and what I believe we, the media, are here for. I can say we because this is a platform that many of you will definitely watch. For a media personality or a journalist to make believe that the only reason that he is where he is at is because he is so good at what he does, and not forget, or rather and forget that he actually needs the people, the fan base, to make him what he is, baffles me. Case in point, tuchikoze sempola. If I am a journalist and I want to run a story on probably missing shoes in Kanyanya, I am not just going to begin looking for those missing shoes in Kanyanya and Tandikirewa. Where would I? I'm going to start tracking that story down. It's going to come from people to people to people, and then I will finally get to the story and tell it. Now, my thing with Samson was, look here, everybody is entitled to what they believe in and what they think about. And as much as it baffles me that that's his train of thought, because I was honestly disappointed, but I can't be disappointed. It's Samson. I've known Samson for a minute. Ibra, Tetwakola and Samson at the same time. I worked with Samson at New Vision. He is who he is, and for me, it bothers me that as the years have come and as the employment has gotten juicier, so has he. He has changed tremendously. But that's the story for another day. My only issue was, I don't feel it's right for journalists, especially Ugandan journalists, to play down what the masses really are talking about. I don't think it's right, and that's why when people came for Farida Nakaziba with her hashtag of I choose peace, I was not going to be among the level-headed people and say choose peace at that moment. I was not going to use the hashtag because I was the people, and the people were not saying peace. Your job as a journalist is to echo out the needs of the common man. Your job as a journalist is to bridge the gap between the people and the people in power, if that is the problem. Your job is basically, you're our intermediary. You are the one who will be like, okay, wait, hold up. The people are saying this, and this side is also saying this. I'm giving you the facts. You'll decide. You'll decide. Every time I read Samson's tweets, especially when the people are coming at him, and I just look at how condescending he is. And for a girl with so much irony, or for a girl who loves satire as much as I do, I can't help but laugh. I honestly can't help but laugh. It's sad. Sigenda na mulu wako. Yamaze na ba dropping de bifana nye bipe bya meme na yenga. Ebibimba bikabadia. Muchimanye echo. Ebibimba bikadia Samson. I'm telling you. Ebibimba bika. Gravity does its thing once in a while. Once you go up high, you have to come back down. It's the rules of the earth. So that's Samson. So the First Lady and the Minister of Education and the Sports, Sioya, yes, Mrs. Janet Kataha Museveni addressed us. So did Museveni himself, the president. And their biggest concern and the biggest question I think that the masses had was, these parents are losing their minds. Yo, I'm a parent. I got 3 of these guys at home. These kids have been home for a year. Some kids, we started with so much energy. Muzi International School, we started with energy. Abana angatwa funazi homework, angatwa printing, abana angabakola homework the first months. Until we're at our wits' end, we couldn't do it anymore. So it's been a year. Kids have not been at school. Candidates just went back. And then the Ministry of Education and Sports that is responsible for letting us know what is the way forward comes out and they tell us, okay, so you're always asking questions, let's give you some answers. 1, from baby class to P3, no school. No school. During COVID, no school. For now, they have put it on hold for those classes. They have not yet told us if they will go back to class, but given the fact that she stated, moving forward, kids are going to start at the age of 5 in P1. Hey! Ah! Chiri Uganda mama nyabo. Just think about it. Ugandan Ministry of Education decided, as part of their COVID measures, that they are going to actually not just phase in kids going back to school, but they are also going to take away kindergarten from our kids. Now, I know there's a bunch of teachers watching this ish, and I'm correct me where I'm wrong, but I was having a conversation with the teacher and I asked them, na yo lwaki mulia centers of kindergarten yobwana ne bujja kusomero ne bukuba mu ngalo our dear teacher ne buyimba ABC ne bukoma ne mutsaba 800k. She explained it to me. She's like, kindergarten is not about omwana ino kuyita. Kindergarten is basically, it's basically us ushering these kids into a system for them to cope with that system. So I'm like, nawe yo ise wala sibitegera nangamba omwana okuwandika obulungi agenda chiyigira mu kindergarten, omwana okwogera obulungi agenda chiyigira mu kindergarten, omwana okusocializing obulungi agenda chiyigira mu kindergarten. Or basically, when you look at your kindergartner's report card, look at how that report card is given. That is what your kindergarten does for you. Now, I want us to take a flip minute. I know we are all millennials or there's some Generation Z in here. Ibra, our parents never used to do kindergarten, sicho. When you look at the quality of citizens, no disrespect, because we have to evolve as a people and as a country. But when you look at the quality of citizens we had back then and the quality of citizens right now, what is your honest take on if we should phase out kindergarten and then the kids go to school at the age of 5 in P1, or if you think kindergarten is actually a necessity? I don't know how many parents feel. I don't know. I personally know it's going to be dumb. Because let me give you an example. I have a 5-year-old. She happened to turn 5 in COVID. She had just started doing school, right? Because she did baby class and then middle class, when now she's supposed to start learning the good stuff. That is, you know, the tracing, the patterns for handwriting and all of that is when COVID hit. So I take her back home. Yeah, I've been homeschooling, right? But there's a parent who has not been able to homeschool because they have to put a meal on the table. It's a pandemic, right? So now it's been 1 year, which means she would have been going to top class, right? So she hasn't done middle class, which is okay. I have no problem with that. So is she going to do, does that mean she's just going to P1 like that? So what? Yo, fam, I'm confused. Because if she did baby class, didn't do middle class, didn't do top class. So kati tugenda muteka mu P1. Mu P1 tugenda musomesa. Tugenda musomesa byetu abadde tulina musomesa mu middle. Oba tugenda musomesa ebyandibadde ebya top. Ye kambuuze baba badde basoma. Bagenda tandikirawa, because there are some schools that have already been doing this. So when we go back to a normal situation, yo fam, hit me up in the comment section, because I feel like I can't take this. I can't understand the decisions that my government makes. And most times people are going to come and they're like, you see, you youth are very radical. You never want to look at things with an open mind. How open can my mind be if it's not making sense? Now think about the people who are affected by just saying there's no more kindergarten. The kindergarten teachers, the kindergarten school owners, most of them who have loans, they actually got loans to open that school, and the schools have been financing that loan well. So you're telling me a guy opened up a school on a loan in Nazi causes things were starting to work out right. COVID hit. The bank still wants his money because there is no way they're going to pardon him on those loans, right? Or those taxes. Then you have the teachers who have not been paid since what year? Bachakaba. How are they going to move on about life? Is it okay for them to just say, okay, baby class P1? Because then there's going to be a disconnect. Because I have an understanding that there are teachers who are specifically for the younger ages. And then there are teachers who are specifically for a mind which is at a certain age. Though they say teachers can multitask, there's a reason why we have classes. Right? So what happens to them? What happens to them? What happens to the parent who is confused? What happens to that child who is slow? What happens to that special needs child who cannot afford a special needs school and is in of those classes? Are we ever going to take them back to school? Are we? Begs the question again. I thought they said all schools should be closed. As soon as the pandemic hit, they said schools are going to close. They try to sell us some BS of giving us TVs and radios. They try to sell us some BS of an online situation. We all know we're not even online now. Then, kambabulire mulimu ebintu byenganyo okwogera nako ku kampuli akati binkoya. Why are international schools going on? Are they using our curriculum? If they are using their muzungu curriculum, musabuleba bigu tetuchinaako bizibu. Besides, abali mu international schools, sibe bana babagaga. With a common man, your child is going to stay home, not get basic kindergarten and socializing skills and handwriting skills, and go to P1 looking confused, very disheveled, still trying to comprehend what happened to their life in 3 years, 2 years. Fam. It's going to be an interesting 5 years, let me tell you. It is going to be. So anyway, if you're a parent or if you're a teacher and you feel you have any views you want to expound more on this, hit me up in the comment section. Today, I just don't even feel like educating because I feel I have a problem with educating. How you finna educate the people who are supposed to tell you that we educated? How do you explain that? Like a group of teachers and educationists and, you know, all these people sat down with the ministry and they're like, yeah, moving forward due to COVID, we are going to take away kindergarten. Now, let me make you laugh. Here is where it gets confusing. Reason they give is because these younger classes cannot wear masks and they cannot follow SOPs. And I understand that bit. Don't we all? I'm a parent. I do. But here's the double standard for me. Then they say when the vaccine comes, they're going to be giving it like almost countries are doing. They're giving it to the elderly, the nurses and doctors on the front line, and, you know, people with pre-existing conditions. So we're going... Do you even know where my train of thought is going with this? These kids don't even need vaccines. But that's not where we're going with it, because we need the vaccines. Yo. Anyway, I'm done with it. Last time I did a very heartfelt message to the president as the youth. Now, today is different. Today is more, I have more questions than answers. You usually know I have answers. So, I'm sitting online and I read about this whole drive, you see, I like to break down things for you in the common man terms. Njagala n'omuntu ali emanga kukuba akitegeere. So, government decided to cut off one of our biggest, I should call it, donor funding bodies, you know, IDG. It's IDG, yeah? Which happens to have under its umbrella a truckload of NGOs, a truckload of projects that they're helping with, a truckload of so much money under it. As the government goes like, we're cancelling your situation in Uganda. We are done. We cannot do this. I'm like, what you? Okay. He said no to them. Okay. He's cancelled their, okay. Their license. Right. Cool. Then after that, and reading about how much this particular NGO funded situation looks like, comes Media Center and they have announcements to make for us. The Ugandan, who is not on social media, but it was posted on Twitter, because that's where I got it, Tetuli Koko Twitter. And they're saying that, yo, I need to read these figures. I might be thinking I'm talking for nada. I need to read for you these figures in order for you to know where the hurt, the hate, the anger, where it all comes from, because this cannot be making any sense whatsoever. Anywho, I can't even seem to find the exact amounts and figures, but the Ugandan government comes out again and it tells us, so as of today, we are trying to get approved for a loan of about 600 and something million US dollars. Then there's another amount that is being thrown around, also being got from another bank. Then there's another amount also being got from another entity. And they're coming out to tell us, yatugenda kwewola in a cent, among the things that were listed in that, in what they need those funds for. Ladies and gentlemen, I kid you not, I wish I could. My country, they say they're going to need an amount of money to actually regrow the forestation cover in light of what's happening with the global situation and global warming. They want, I'm like, ho. Mutulaba kama tu mutuita basiru. Mutuita basiru. Aren't this the same cats that sold off? They sold off lots of land, lots of forest cover to investors. Basimbwemwe bikajjo. You remember that? You remember that? The same government trying to take out a loan from different entities of the global world is saying that amongst the funds they are trying okwewola bagala kuddamu basimbe emiti gye baali baatema nga bagiwadde investor. I'm like, okay. Aye. Uganda. You like, this is my stand though when it comes to donors, because we can, you know, the very elite ones are going to come and tell you, well, look here, you don't get it. I don't want to be an elite today. I want it to make sense to me like a regular normal Ugandan. I don't need to have a degree to understand the mathematics behind politics. I don't. Now this is the same government. This same government comes out again after giving us how much they want to Kwewola, right? Tell us all that they want it for. Close off the NGO situation. Then my president prior before that says he is sick and tired of the Western influences in the country. They are the ones ready to destabilize a young nation. The Western influences have been his conversation this entire political campaigning season. His biggest issue with the youth and NUP is because he claims they are Western entities involved. Okay, sir, we hear you. Thank you for being a Pan-Africanist. We see that, but explain to me why you can condescendingly say that about the youth and them wanting the Western entities. call them out for what they are, and then still go ahead and disrespect yourself by going back on your word and asking them for their money? Let me get that straight. Run it back. So you like their money. You don't like their influences? Wait, isn't money an influence? So who is fooling who? That's a question I need to understand. Who is fooling who? Or he's going to say that the Western influences were the gays and all of that. Translation, money. I believe money is an influence, isn't it? So you like their money, but you don't like their influences, even if the influences are the same reason that you're actually liking their money. Are you following my drift, Uganda? This issue has stopped making sense. Now I'm going to tell you a line that I got off someone on Twitter, Christina. She told me, she tweeted it and it made so much sense. And I think that's what I've been doing for the past couple of months. The citizen audits the state. The state can never audit the citizen. They do that every now and again when they tax you and all of that, but they are not even auditing you per se. They are like, that's what they do. But you, the citizen, you have to audit them. You have to audit them because they get that money from you and they're supposed to make it work. But by the way I'm looking at things, it seems like the only thing my country is good at lately is borrowing. Oh, twewoze. At this point, I wouldn't be shocked if there's a black room with high-end politicians and technocrats, you know, and capitalists seated in the room deciding Uganda's fate, and they're like, so who owns Uganda today? And China might put up their hand like, we do. But not so long, not for so long. America also wants a piece of her. They are chasing us in percentage. Yeah, the Brits also, yeah, you know, we had that oil situation. Good God, it feels like the scramble and petition of Africa all over. Only this time, it's the scramble and petition of Uganda. You go out and ask for these obnoxious amounts of money. When they give you the same obnoxious amounts of money, the next thing we hear is that funds went missing. And when the funds go missing, you start to impose obnoxious amounts of taxes on the citizen who is actually getting the bare minimum of the services that they are supposed to get from the same tax that they give to you, that you harass them for. I can't even finish the statement. Like, wow. Just wow. Maybe we are too young to understand this thing of olozambu febasiru ngafa batategeera government bwezikola, states bwezikola. Tuyinza okubanga tuli wano twekubya mizimu nga we are just looking stupid. But from a common man's point of view, like say if Uganda was my shop, Sam, wouldn't you balance and you'd know your assets, your liabilities if Uganda was your shop? How come my country doesn't even have any of that? We have no trajectory. We just keep borrowing money whenever we see an aid. This same country that is asking for money, in those same reasons why they are going to borrow this money. Bagamba, bagenda kutereza infrastructure, roads, bichi. It rained last week in Kampala. Boba wali Kampala wajira benkuba. We don't have roads. We needed canoes. We could put a fresh yacht out on Kampala Road and it would sail, baby boy. It would. They're asking for money to build those roads. But let us not forget, before they asked for money to build those roads, just last year, juicy. Mujukira storage and Nakola, Uganda is going to build for the DRC a road. I don't get it. Is it about priorities? Is it me who is looking at the priorities in a flip-flop? Like, I don't get it. But this country is just, wow. 70, wow. NRM. We just sitting here wondering, like, make it make sense. But we're going to watch this. And then, as we are throwing that in, there's so much more comical stuff that's happening. I'm reading that the ICT minister comes out and says that ministers are using a certain type of internet that does not require VPN. I'm like, Actually, in a nutshell, I would just like to send, I would like to send the different entities in government a shout out that want to address us on social media platforms that we are not a part of. Like, Tatuli Wabadia, we do not know who you're communicating with. We are not on social media. It was standoff in Uganda on the 13th day of January 2021. Who are you communicating with, Badia? Vaping is illegal, Badia. Mutuje kolu Kongolo. If you feel you have very urgent information to pass on to us, I bet you guys had a plan, didn't you? People was at bali tebalina plan. Mbwe tulijjako social media nga twagala bagamba mbu kino kyabaddewo mukadde akasinga obwangu ennyo tujja kudduka ku radio 1 ngedda. Mudduke ku radio 1 Badia. Mugende ku mpewo ku TV ne ku radio tetuli ku social media temutukoya. Like, y'all is funny. Oh, big shout out to MTV. They finally postponed the awards that was supposed to happen in Uganda. I was happy as hell. Of course, I still see people on the timelines talking about you're decampaigning your own thing. There's going to be Uganda even after this whole political tension. Mulibasiru. It's like having a wife beats her for a husband, right? And every time he beats you, instead of you seeking for help, you know what you do? You stay in your house and put a band-aid on it or some concealer so that the folks around you never know. But the honest truth is you are in pain. So whenever I hear someone trying to say we are not being patriotic because we brought so much dark light to a very beautiful light, I'm asking you, why do you want us to keep putting band-aids on our wounds? Why? What makes you think it's okay? What makes you think it's unpatriotic of me to speak on the injustices that are happening? What makes you think that it is so wrong for a Ugandan to wake up in the morning and say, you know what? I don't need an award ceremony right now. I do not need to celebrate this because there is nothing to celebrate. My brothers and sisters are being kidnapped during the day, during the night, pulled out of their beds, snatched out of their homes, with not a single security force saying, okay, we got them. When they show up, they have been tortured, battered, beaten, raped, killed. And you want us to be patriotic and hold an online virtual show to what? To watch Shiba sing for us to noneko ice cream. Kale, Shiba ayimbye. Irene Ntale naye ayimbye. Wizo ayimbye, bonna bayimbye. Kikyusizzaaki. There is nothing wrong for us saying, because for me I looked at it as this was us telling the outside world, before we can play pretend that we are okay, we need to fix us. This is Uganda trying to heal. We do not want people to play pretend and play down our pain. You get what I'm saying? This is us politely telling the rest of the world, hey, yo, fam, we know it's all fun and games, but we need to heal as a people. So we don't want no awards. We want some answers. We want answers about why the Election Commission keeps on switching up the results on their website. They put up this result today, take it down, put another tomorrow, take it down, put it down, take it down, put it down. We're trying to understand that instability. We're trying to understand why people are being abducted, and it is openly okay for us to go on social media and warn our brothers and sisters, friends, cousins, parents, uncles, mbobadia mutieduro ni wojirabira duka. It is so wrong for us to normalize going to our different timelines and saying bajja kunchima. You want us to normalize that? Y'all don't even know shit. You are wrong for trying to tell the people in pain not to express their pain. Perhaps you could have asked them to express their pain in a different way, but pain is pain. And we all feel it in a different way. Do not judge nobody who actually put up that hashtag and said, hey, yo, fam, the country you're coming to do a virtual show in, this is what is at the background. It is not all those 3 shot drone. Ozimanyi, Ibra. Because it's a shot is set where drone in eziraga amakubo galinga nana gamakinga ne balyoka bakulaga the beautiful hills ne balyoka bakulaga the nice hotels. They only show you a part of Uganda that we are also proud of. Don't get us wrong, fam. We are so freaking proud of this country. That is why we can put out this dirty linen and say we can do better. We can do better. You're not more patriotic than us for not wanting to highlight the pain, the struggle, the pain. That is all you want to do. Post up photos of beautiful roads, like Bunyoni, giraffes and deers are flying around and walking and crawling and all whatever it is that all the wildlife in this country does. But you do not want the person outdoors or outside this country to know that in Uganda, the chances of you sleeping in your bed are this slim. That in Uganda, you can be picked up by a plain-clothed officer or operative, and your parents will go to a police station looking for you, and the police itself will tell you, we do not know. That in this country, after they have picked you up like that, we shall even leave past the police and ask for bigger questions from bigger entities, and the minister will stand up and say, we do not know where these people are. You want to visit Uganda? Oh sure, fam. Visit. Visit. It's so ridiculous that an entire minister can stand up and say, which people? We are just hearing rumors of people being taken. By the time an entire population can know the cars that are picking up these young kids and killing them and maiming them, and then you say we are spreading hate. I have watched the videos of mothers seated down crying to the president of the nation and just saying, Oba mufukale mutuwo mulambo tumuzike. Crying to you, a fellow parent. And when they cry, they don't just cry to the president. But of course, he's the higher power we have, so we cry directly to him. Because all the other hierarchies are not going to do shit for us. These women are in pain. They don't know where their kids are. They don't know if their kids are going to show up alive, maimed, broken, tortured. They don't know. And when they ask the state tells them, we don't have them in our custody. Who has them? Who has them? But this same state will be so quick to follow a tip and say, we know there is going to be insurgencies and all these things from this day to this day in Kampala. Don't be scared, we got you. Your security intel is on the dot on everything. That's what you tell us. But when it comes to the citizens of this country asking for their brothers, mothers, sisters, uncles, cousins, children, you finna tell us you don't know where they are. And we should keep quiet, witness it, but in the meantime, tukube visit Uganda. DJ Khalida jatubulire nga bwali the one with the best at what? Level with me here. Like I said, I don't like to look at these things. I'm not going to say I'm a political analyst or anything. I am just trying to be a regular Ugandan thinking out loud. Level with me here. Just look at that perspective. And then you call us wrong, unpatriotic. In my country, a social media post, a tweet, my dear, a tweet in my country can get you picked up from your home, taken to a very undisclosed place, left there to either die, rot, be beaten or anything. And it's okay. We should visit Uganda. Fam, we're just saying we are not visiting Uganda. We bloody live here. This is our reality. So why don't you want us to project our reality out? Why don't you want us to say the truth? Why don't you want us to give people the reality? What are you covering up for if you feel the state is not at wrong? Why should we pretend that everything is fine, everything is okay? We're even going to host an awarding situation. You know, it's okay. These people who are missing, who are dead, who have returned maimed, they're not of consequences. DJ Khalid, we're the best. Come do your thing. Thank you, MTV. And you see, there is a thing that people don't understand. I saw the elites trying to come at us again for our sentimental attachments. They call them sentimental. You see, there are wars in this world. If you're in politics, you'll understand. There are wars that are won by generals, and there are wars that are won by capitalists. Case in point, sigenda chirwako. A general will win his war, but a capitalist will not just win the war. He will win the war, he will win the battle, he will win everything. Because you see, a capitalist is only looking at himself. And it has started showing, it has started rearing its ugly head, but dear. Did I hear that the Google offices, I don't hear anymore? Like they closed down? I had a rumor about that. We already have wars going on with Facebook. An entire country. I know many countries are fighting with it, China, you name it, and all of that. That's their narrative. I was in a country that never used to have a problem with the youth having social media. So you cannot tell me, hey, India bachikola, eno bachikola, sibimanyi. Zina manyi na kubira ne internet. Facebook, Twitter, the state opened up a war on them over small accounts of stupid little people. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 5 people, their accounts being suspended has led to people not making money. If the government didn't know, the internet is the easiest way for you to get a startup. People have started to embrace the digital era. We have all moved, and COVID made it worse. We all went digital. So you turn off you turn off. Mainango olumu ntula mnengamba naye njogera nabyachi kuba nkoye tosobola kubuulirira abantu bakulu bwe batisaawa bina gwe mama waabwe n'obuulirira eggwanga bote babiraba. Anyway, at the end of the day, I will say thank you, MTV Base, and thank you for respecting the voice of the people. Now, for all of you who think these people were not patriotic, I just gave you the reason why they are the way they are. Never judge anybody who is in pain. Never. Never. Like, visit Uganda. What's there to visit? No, Ibra, please. Apart from what they usually show, whereby COVID is at an all-time high pretty much in the whole world now. Yes, vaccines are coming out, but people are a little bit skeptical with their movements. You know, people are going to be taking vacations, but they're not going to want to take 16-hour flights, 20-hour flights. Nah, fam. They're trying to stay safe. So they come and visit what? Kampala. What is there to see in Kampala? What? Maybe it's because I'm from here. I take it for granted. First, answer our questions. The state needs to explain to us. And you see, the state doesn't just have to explain to us where these children are. The state needs to explain to us why they were taken, why they were tortured, why they were not read their rights, why they were denied access to anyone, because that is now not, that is actually an abduction. It's a kidnapping. Why don't they have any cases on them? And who is doing it? And then you come here and you tell us visit Uganda. Yo, let me read for you something that's going to make you think about visiting Uganda. I kid you not. Apparently, Daily Monitor, quote for quote, they say, police have completed preliminary investigations into the killing of former national boxing captain Mando Zebra, but said they are waiting for the president's permission to arrest the suspects. They are saying police have completed preliminary investigations into the killing of Zebra, but they said they are waiting for the president's permission to arrest the suspects. Visit Uganda. Oh yeah, fun. Visit Uganda. You all saw what happened to Zebra. How long has it been? It's not even been a month. Has it been a month? A month or two. You all saw how they gunned that man down. You all saw the president come up on national television and say it was our fault. But I'm not so sure what happened. Because he even confessed he was an NRM person. I'm like, wait, does that have to do with how he was gunned down? Or does it have everything to do with how he was gunned down? And then you hear that the police actually says, we got the guys. We know where they are. Suspects in sight. Over there. Just there. Boss, should we get them? They're waiting on the boss to be like, yeah, I think it's only right that you get them. Wait, what is the police's job? What is the CID's job? I thought it's their job to put these suspects in custody. Or are they trying to officially show it to us that nothing in this country moves a smidgen without the president? Because then that would be one hell of a job for him. Imagine if you're the president and every 5 seconds there's a different entity calling you. Hello? Yes, Mr. President. About Zebra. Okay. No bango yakabao ko badam ne bakuba. Hello? Yes, Mr. President. P1 ne P2. Badeo? Nenda? Tukulinde? Okay. Mr. President. Amalwaliro. Tegaina dagala. Bazibye. Tukulinde? Okay. Imagine that. Or visit Uganda, all right? Oh, visit. Visit. Because I know by the time you leave this here country, you're going to be hitting a hashtag like me. And the hashtag we are using, stop kidnapping Ugandans. Stop it. Stop it. And what's so funny is the biggest issue with them is that they're trying to find what? The plan B. Who started this plan B nonsense? FDC. FDC has been using that plan B. Every time I check on their tweets, because their Twitter is so fire, there's like a plan B. But I move yo mwogerechi plan B chamwe. Mulekera okutisa abana baffe. Kuba tebabimanyi be bababuuza. Why would you be picking up these random young kids and beating them and maiming them and doing all these things? Mugende munonye Kyagulanyi mumubuuze pulaani. Mugende munonye FDC mumubuuze pulaani. Muve ku baana b'abakazi. But like we said, the hashtag Jamuliko, visit Uganda, hashtag mamas. We the best. Kale. They get what Koboko decided, leave me alone even. Oh, Uganda, I hope you're finally seeing it. I hope you're finally seeing what I told you. Be very critical of the people you put in power. Because then they become your nightmare. So, Anita, when Koboko told her you are not our gateway and you do not have the maje, we do not like you, sis. When Anita lost her election, she took the time out. She took the time out nage and never Jacko ambulance. Jariaba wadenga campaigning. And she's not the only one. There are very many who have taken back all the things they had given the people during campaign. And I want to tell the beautiful people who made that a possibility for them to take their things back. I want to thank you very much. Mbagala nyo. Munkote kumutima we muti muntobo mwe today. Because finally, finally you said no to the bullshit. You told them go. They got so hurt that they're like, we won't even give you the ambulance. Go. Thank you, Uganda, for voting wise and right. Anite, people have already been dying from problems with this country before your ambulance. Malaria has been killing our brothers and sisters. Ebola has come and killed them. COVID is also here. Anite, take that your rubbish. Go, sit with it, reside in it. Take comfort and pride in it. We don't need it because the people spoke. They would rather have a true leader than have some idiot at the helm of the seat who just wants to use her power to stay in power. Ha! Sucks to be you, Anite. Sucks to be you. Huh? Where was the Major? The Major did not vote for her. Ooh la la. Another thing I wanted to get into. There was something that was viral on social media. Safe border. If you live in Uganda, anti mwabali kuchihashitaga visit Uganda. If you live in Uganda, there is a rider up for bikes. So that rider up has had terms and conditions for a minute. They decided to change them recently, and when they did, because people are very, very active with their T&Cs lately, they checked them out. And when you read them in a nutshell, Safe Border is telling you, you can sit on my border, go to wherever you're going, but Safe Border as the company is not liable for anything. They are not liable for the border riders' misconduct. They are not liable if you have ordered for food and the border guy disappears with it. They are not liable for anything. Basically, what they are telling you is we just have the app. Whoever wants to use the app, use it at your own risk. For ababoda ebajja ne batugamba twagala kukuba bigu wano twagala kola sente tubawa oba babbi oba batemu oba banyazi tebibakwatako. They are not legally liable. Is it okay for us to actually boycott? We can boycott this. We can boycott Safe Border. Anzibye bankubye oba banzibye oba chiwed. Wow. Anyway, that also happened. Visit Uganda. Ndoza lero tukatekeko ku visit Uganda ku buli kimu. Jesus. Anyway, I just wanted to talk about the vaccines because I don't understand it. But I heard we officially have like about 9 million vaccines coming our way, and we're getting the AstraZeneca, is it? Yeah, AstraZeneca. Why? We're to do somewhere in a pandemic, we shall get anything apart from whatever is being cooked up by my government. Wait, which makes me ask, that thing that the president launched, was it a treatment for COVID or a cure for COVID or a vaccine for COVID? Which one was it? Because I think we got it lost in translation. I think he was making, why nange simanyi bye bali okola katubirinde bya Uganda bwe bityo mubirabirawo. So anyway, we're getting AstraZeneca. I've tried to do some reading on it, and I don't think I like it. But then again, I don't think we can afford Pfizer or Moderna, can we? We definitely can't. Now someone was, and this, I tell you people, whenever I'm educated, I use it. I was making noise about how so little vaccines we have got and why our vaccines are at $7 a pop, yet other countries like Kenya managed to get their vaccine at $3 a pop. And then someone tried to educate me and it made so much sense. So this one, I'm just going to Nyenda Chibasulira. So apparently, according to what happened, there's the scramble for vaccines globally. That's why you see pretty much every country that can afford is trying to make one. Now what happens is all the big superpowers and the big countries manage to secure enough vaccines for their populations and then some more. So what does that do? That makes it even harder to acquire vaccines for the countries that actually asked for them much later. And not that much later, because EU was trying to, do this whole thing where they'll step in as brokers for different countries. So that alone has caused a scarcity, and that's why we may be getting them at a much higher price. So yeah, all I'm saying is that the rich countries made sure that we, Africa, the continent that they have stolen from time and time again, are not protected from the virus. Wow. But what's worse is that our own countries have also made it a possibility for us not to get this. Are we going to get it? I saw a conversation where they were thinking, Parliament was thinking that Ugandans should actually be able to buy their own vaccine after they have done the, elderly and all of that, underlying diseases. Visit Uganda. Hepatitis B. You think I expect to get a free vaccine in this country? I'll be a fool. Teddy, yo. Hepatitis, they came and told us it's going to be a campaign nationwide. Show up to the next hospital trying to get my shot because the government said I can get a shot. And they go like, you got some money. I'm like, money? Government, they're like, which government? Gende mulago mudwaliro lya government. Botuka ne mudwaliro lya government ne bagamba anti government yagamba hepatitis. You got some money. So I'm just saying, in a nutshell, please start saving your worker money for you and your loved ones, just in case. Just in case. Just in case. We have to pay for the COVID vaccine. Personally. Individually. That's there. Ibra, do you feel there's something we haven't gotten into? Oh yeah, there's a couple of things I wanted to brush through. Okay, where is that? There's some stories that just come up my way. So the story I was telling you about the kidnappings and what's going on in the country, and I cannot stress this enough. If you have a social media platform, the hashtag is #StopKidnappingUgandans. Now, this is also from the Daily Monitor. Don't ask me why. I find them objective lately. So they say, according to the minister, they say so far we have 44 cases of alleged kidnap. 7 were arrested, charged and on bail. 4 were arrested. 11 resurfaced after 3 days. 31 people are yet to be traced as investigations continue. That is the Minister JJ Odong on the alleged kidnappings and human rights violations. Basically, ono gaya bagamba nze bemmanyiko baliwana there were 44. Kati kwa baba 44 omusanvu jukira bo baba arrestinga. After arresting them, they were charged and are out on bail. Then 7 were also arrested. 11 resurfaced after 3 days, but he's not telling us resurfaced from where, who had them, from where. Did they just evaporate into thin air, went somewhere, beat themselves up, maimed themselves and showed up? From where? From where, but dear? And then you even have the audacity, Mr. Minister, to tell us that 31 people, 31, temumanyi gye bali. That means ne bwogenda ku any police station in Uganda, tojja basanga. Ne bwogenda to any military situation, court or whatever it is that they have, tebaliyo, nobody has them. They have themselves. Wow. I just need some explanations. And this is my last story. So the banana processing factory in Bushenyi district is seeking an additional 30 billion UGX, 30 billion Uganda shillings, to start commercial production of different products from bananas. That sounds nice. Don't you think that's nice, Ibra? Basaba justi obuwumbi bilioni asatu batandike okukola products from different products from bananas. Then they go on to complete the sentence with, the factory has for the last 15 years failed to take off despite the government investing over 150 billion. However, management says they have been researching the products they want to produce. mujoga kanka kudire mugwata kategedde batula, and they decided to make a factory. It cost them 150 billion Uganda shillings just to start it up 15 years ago. Now, the 15 years ago, 150 million put into a project. Then flip it back, katika mauja tuli, 2021, this same company, this same banana processing factory comes back and says, we are seeking 10 billion, no, how much? 30 billion Uganda shillings in order to do our work. When asked why they have not been doing anything for the past 15 years, they said, quote for quote, we were researching the products to make from bananas. These guys have done extensive research on banana products for 15 years. And after 15 years and 150 billion going into it, they come back and they're like, okay, now that we have finished the research, but where your 30 billion? Mujoga. Serious lukwago watuogerera akagamba ako naye buli bwe nkogera I feel it mujoga. Anyway. How do I even do this? Stella Nyanzi ran out of the country. Stella Nyanzi is in exile badia. Stella Nyanzi ali Kenya ali kusabula buli kiramu namulabye ku interview. Stella Nyanzi yabuuse. Yagenze. I was like, good for her. You know? Good for her. And she says she's so happy. She beat the junta. She's out with her kids, regardless of the fact that she knows Kenya si walanyo, and that the government that is always chasing her has tentacles in there. She is happy. She left. Okay. Do you think Besigye at one point wanted to go in exile? Not that it's the same thing, because she's a woman, man. She's so outspoken. But again, visit Uganda, where our brilliant minds, regardless of how weird they are, because your people fail to understand Stella, but the brilliant minds that could actually be adding on to our country are fleeing. They are going into exile. Even Mondo went. Someone wanted me to say something else on UG artists. We don't have anything to say on anyone. We don't. We are done. I hear full figure, Ashbag, Wondabakaba. Ashbag said, Musimanya, his only livelihood was Facebook Komanyoko. You are around the incumbent. You are around Balam. And you did not secure your future. Olimus Siru. Your boss did not teach you the slogan. Facebook has been my only source of income. Your boss came up with a slogan, secure your future. Kati bwenga buli kiro sibo ovuma buli kiramu ku social media. Ne weerabira okusecuringa future yo ne Balamu ne president. Tioli wano olassana ebinnya ebya bbulu. Gasia. Like I have very... Hey bro, what did he want us to do for him? You made a fool of yourself by warning Mark Zuckerberg as an individual. But what about Kulubano? What about Kulubano Ashbag? Tuleke, we are full of garbage. I answer. Politics Yamuvako. I watched Badjo trying to explain why Museveni lost in Buganda. And against the Mutoi and Mazo would be much better than watching that. Ugandans. There is nothing much happening. Nothing. I don't see anything happening. Oh, by the way, I wanted to take a shout out. And this one is going to the general. I think lines have been drawn. Sichacho. Lines have been drawn. Akaluntu akakuba. Everyone has offered openly said wagwa secho. Aba NRM bagweno, aba FDC bagweno, fenna twemanyi kati. Sicho. Lutu. Eka nawe tumwine nawe bamukoye mu parliament yagamba get out. We don't need you here, saga. Parliament bamganyeyo. But this whole nonsense of different entities, me, I'm going to speak on the entities I know. Because for me, always the only people who attack me on social media, now you need to understand what I mean by attack. Nzebo jano mvume binyumiranga nchimanyi tusobola okwetwala baby twetwala bwonvume bitegerekekanga nyina kyensobola okuyigamu baby nchiyiga. I'll even engage you further and go to your DM and ask you for a better education. Nayebe sitategera are these paid NRM bots? Yes, this is going to you at NRM online. Control your henchmen. Control your henchmen. You're going to be like the double standards. New people do it all the time. Control your people. They come on different social media platforms without facts. If you're going to send us bots that are supposed to make us reconsider our choice in what we want for governance, at least send these bots out with some knowledge. Y'all are out here hiring 2-year-olds who can barely construct sentences, barely know their history as a nation. They don't even need to be brainwashed because they have zero. Mubwongo na yene babuka ku politics gwe batategeranga buli ayogerako ku chetula be Kampala nga ka NRM bot kabukayo the Mohozi project. Those are usually their AVIs. Mohozi project, my general, NRM is the best. Tatubalinako buzibu. Lines were drawn. But if you're going to send us abatuvuma mutubalema magezi and give us worthy opponents, you cannot send Ashbag Kato to have a conversation with Jacob Zuma. You cannot send Badjo to have an argument for argument's sake. Donald Trump na okay, there, yeah. You cannot send Badjo to a seasoned political analyst and expect him to get his words through or to expect them to. There's levels to this ish. There's someone you can abuse stupid. Then there's someone who you blatantly tell, oh my goodness, is that an excuse of an head on your head? On your shoulders. You get what I'm saying? Sending us baby gapped tooth. Bacha wunya no luta tata. Ba wunyo luta. Bajabale pukana kubuli posti. He has given us, he has given you good for you. Genda ku Twitter handle yo. Obulirenga bwatu wadde. We are not going to come for you. So I'm just saying, there's one who came out and they even were like, we are going to expose you. You sleep. Oh, wakalaba Ibra. Ayajanagamba, hey, I'm going to expose you at the end of the night that you actually sleep. Oh no, she said that she did a full thing. She's like, the reason as to why Tina tried to sleep with her boss to get her job back. And she had made like a real poster and cover stories and everything. I'm like, bitch, were you the only one who didn't see the letters that went viral online? Were you the only one who didn't actually understand when I said I am done with this bullshit? Speaking of Kabushenga, he resigned. Read what? Yeah. Where was I? I'm just saying. Mutuletera abantu nga bagenda tuvuma biri ebyafaayo. Mwana akuvume owole ove ku Twitter mwezi mulamba nga weerowooza. It's just a sad game, man. Lines have been drawn. Everybody stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. If you have an argument, bring it out. I used to have a problem with noob supporters because every time they would jump onto something, they would just throw a lot of insult everywhere. Up to now, they still do it. But I sat down and understood it. I'm like, there's a common saying in Uganda. Owe bango bwotamuwe mukira. Osula tewebise. And I understood that that was the only way they were ever going to get hurt. It's a psychological effect. You know? They understood that the only way they would get to you, they are pushing their, you know, their thoughts, their voice, their words. They actually used the Stella Nyanzi approach. They asked Stella Nyanzi, your approach of trying to speak to the government, why is it like that? And she said it worked. And to be honest, it worked. They noticed her. She has been arraigned in court not once, not twice. She has served time, which means whoever she was sending the message to got the message, hence the reaction. So I understand noob people and how they be. Na ina mga noob kati jagala tuigayo kati akapya. Tandiko bakubane research. Facts. Facts. Let us pull an Andrew Mwenda. Andrew Mwenda may not know what he's talking about, but if you give him numbers, he will make it work. The moment Andrew just starts, you see the statistics don't add up. You see what you're going to do? You're going to get the 30% of the... And then you're like, this man is smart. Then we're going to have to use that. Yeah. Anyway, that was my time. I could go on rambling forever and ever and ever. Don't forget, this particular episode was proudly sponsored by Moyo Connect. Of course, in case you want to reach out to them, all the info is right there down below. I keep on messing up with those emails. Last time I said .ug. It's www.support.moyo. You know what? It's right down here. It's right down here. And of course, we shot this beautiful episode at the none other than beautiful gardens down at Estella, who are actually telling you, come this Valentine's, they have dope packages for you. So if you are a single person and you just want to take yourself out and treat yourself for 60K, come and blast. If you are a couple and you just want, you know, come out and have dinner for 100K, couple. But if you want to have breakfast, dinner, and a whole room and all of that, that money is very little. Hit me up in my comment section and let me know what you can actually pay to have a night away. You know, it's the month of love. So I've been told. Ibra, do you feel any love? Wait, Ibra, do you have a Valentine? Sam, shut up. You have a wife. Don't qualify for this conversation. Ibra, do you have a Valentine? Team single. Or team Kasaboni? How come you didn't ask me if I have a Valentine? Am I that yina mwe monsat? Kwa gamba temwine na kubuza muchimanyi ndi bwomu. Temumbuza la kumbuza. And we're happy Valentine's. For all of you who are going to celebrate it, for our team single, we are going to be out here frustrating all the happy people. And in case you are buying your girlfriend's chocolate and all those nice things, one, my favorite color is pink. I'm meaning if you're buying for your girlfriend. And two, I mean, the chocolates, whatever you're buying for her, just make sure it has extra nuts in it. I love me some extra nuts. What else should they buy their girlfriends? I love nuts. Who doesn't love nuts? Nuts are bae. I'm not allergic to nuts. Don't you like nuts, Ibra? Oh, you got nuts. Where were we? That's been my time, fam. I wish I could do this longer. We're trying to find a way of how to keep bringing you these episodes much more on time, in the beat, as soon as we can sort out our social media situation in the country. But most importantly, we're trying to see, can you guys come up with any other ideas you would love to see on this particular channel? Hit us up in the comment section or any of my social media platforms and let us know, what would you want to see? Do you want to see, who do you want to see, Ibra? Who do you want to see on this show? Would you want to see people on this show? That's a question first. Would you want interviews so that we could end up all looking like every Ugandan YouTube channel? Ugh, I cringe at the thought. But hey, the customer is king. Hit us up in the comment sections and we'll definitely put your thoughts into consideration. For now though, I'll catch you on the flip side. It's been real. Lero sirina energy wogana kugambia bintu byantamye danda babirabe. But I'll catch you real soon. Ibra, do you think they can see my scar? You know how they like to comment on shit? Hey, yo, fam, I own dogs. I was just saying my dog. It happened, so don't come for me. What else do you think they're going to come for you? Y'all have time. Anyway, I'm out. Peace.